Now, it's my huge pleasure to welcome to the stage our architects. John McLean, who is in charge of the master plan for the whole site, works with Morgan Kahn along with Lepp and Mark Davis, who are here tonight. And they are some of the leading architects in Sussex, and one of the things they bring to us, as well as a fantastic creativity and wonderful ideas, is they have a fantastic relationship with the council, which is very important for this. And then Teva, who designed Highgate Shul, and is, when you hear him speak, you'll see what I mean, very sensitive, and he's a wonderful guy to have involved in this scheme. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Well done. Beautiful.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much, Mark. I'm another Brighton boy. I lived in the city all of my life. Morgan Kahn Partnership, our firm, was founded in Hove in 1957, and I've been there for 30 years, more than 30 years. So we do know the city. We've worked on lots of major regeneration projects, such as the new Hannington's Lane behind that Hannington's store. We're working on the West Street hotels, lots and lots of schools in the city. We have an excellent relationship with the officers and the councillors in the city, and we specialise really in complicated sites. This is one of the most challenging briefs that I've ever come across in my career, but I have to say it's an absolute honour and a pleasure to be involved in it. So, moving through the slides. This is just going to be a very quick snapshot of where we are at the moment to give you an update. There will be further updates. There will be a press release tomorrow about this event and inviting people to another public consultation. When we finished going through the slides, there will be some exhibition boards that we've actually turned around at the back there so that people don't take a sneak preview before we're ready. But we will turn them around, and you'll be very welcome. We'll stay as long as we need to answer any questions that you have about any details. Okay, so this is the site. Just along New Church Road, on the north side of the road, bounded in red there. This is an ordnance survey that shows the arrangement of the buildings, and the shul is at the back of the site. And there are two villas on the front that originally started life as homes. This is a topographical survey, measured survey, showing all of the features on the site. Now, as Mark, Tony and David said, what we're trying to do here is to build a real community, and that is the heart of everything. The jewel in the crown is going to be the synagogue. There will be the function space, that will be flexible, and this is where we've been working together to try to, and it has been such fun working with Teva and his expertise in the shul and these spaces. We're working really hard to make sure that we safeguard this community and to make the facilities as future-proofed as we possibly can so they can be as flexible as possible. You'll see in a minute that it is centred around what we hope will be a really tranquil, beautiful courtyard. There'll be the cafe and the flexible office space, the kitchen, which is crucial, and the classrooms that we've been discussing with St Christopher's. And this is a sort of bubble diagram, and it just shows the overlaps between the different functions within the synagogue. So this is the actual site, and as you can see, the concept is that the shul is the heart of the site. We have the function space, we have the office and the community life, we have the cafe and the flexible spaces, the nursery, and we have the residential. The residential is essential, not only because it brings life to the site 24/7, but it also provides the enabling funding that helps, underwritten by Tony, but it provides the enabling funding to help this to get off the ground. This is a site plan that's really a landscaping plan, and so the buildings are shown white, and you can see, there are some diagrams in a minute, that as you come from the bottom of the drawing, which is New Church Road, into the centre of the site, there will be a courtyard. This is a ground floor plan that shows the arrangement of buildings and the shul right in the centre. So we have a ramp that goes down the side to an Undercroft car park. We have entrances to the flats, and we have the main entrance to the shul through the courtyard. More residential entrances, and part of the key here is that there's an awful lot going on this site, and so by separating the uses so that none of the entrances will be overstressed and over-congested, we think will be really helpful. This is the first floor where you can see on the left the Work Avenue space in the bottom left, the classrooms behind, and the residential. And moving up through typical plans. Now this is a really, really important concept diagram, and it says everything about the scheme. So in the centre will be the main entrance off New Church Road, and it will enter into a beautiful, tranquil courtyard. The shul will be ahead of you, and it's very exciting. You'll see what Teva is planning. On the left is the Work Avenue space, on the right is the nursery, and the residential is above. But the residential entrances are on either side so that the central entrance won't be too congested. This is a diagram, a sort of cross-section looking through the garden and the courtyard space towards the entrance to the shul right in the centre, and you can see a cross-section through the shul over to the right. This is another concept sketch that hopefully conjures up the sort of character that we're trying to create, and it should be a beautiful, tranquil landscape space. Now, one way that we are very different to the previous approach of all of the other architects. There have been 2 or 3 other attempts at this that have pretty well gone disastrously well for a number of reasons, but including with the local planning authority, is because their starting point was just to remove the internationally protected elm trees that run through the centre of the site. And we're working with them. There's no reason why we need to remove those. And so the approach is actually going to be under the boughs of these 100-year-old elms into this courtyard with a beautiful shul at the end. And this courtyard space will become an alfresco inside, outside. Imagine a wedding or a bar mitzvah, and you've got the doors open and people spilling out from one space from the inside to the outside, across to the nursery on the other side of the courtyard. It could be really stunning. This is another view just looking across that courtyard. And some idea, this isn't exactly what it would look like, but some idea of the sort of character that we're trying to achieve. And then here I'm going to hand over to Teva to concentrate on the shul itself.
Thanks, John. My name's Teva Hess, and I'd like to preface my remarks by saying what great admiration I have for what Mark is doing, and can I call you Tony? I think it's fantastic. I know it's not an easy thing to do, and my dad always told me that if it's not easy, if it's not difficult, it's not worth doing. And I really have great respect for what you're trying to do here, and I really want to contribute to that. I'd also like to say to John and his colleague Lap, who's here, and Mark and Taya, we've had the most fruitful and productive collaboration between our practices, and so it's been terrific. Yet Mark mentioned that I was the architect for Highgate Shul. Highgate's been open a year now. I should also mention that I'm a member of the same shul. And can you imagine the responsibility that rests on your shoulders? It's got to be right. It's got to be a success. That's my community. That's my group of friends. And I can say we've got an amazing rabbi there, Rabbi Liss. Since the new shul opened on the same site, membership's grown. They've got a tremendous calendar of events. The Sir Martin Gilbert Learning Center is opening. I think the date is now the 14th of November with a tremendous program. So this idea of bringing things together on one side as the center of a community is something I live, and it's something I really admire and support wholeheartedly. So now, there's only 10 slides between what I'm going to say and the highlight of the evening, which is the Chief Rabbi's address, so I'll move forward. The shul is in the center of the site. As John said, it's really the heart of the community. It's the heart of the site. And we're laying it out, although the slides I'm going to show you tonight are, it's a work in progress. And in some respects, it looks a bit more developed than it is. I know we've had tremendous, great meeting with Rabbi Rader and the Rebbitzin. the layout of seats where men sit and women sit, and Chief Rabbinate and the Beth Din will all contribute to the actual layout of the shul. So it's a work in progress. But basically, we've split it right, left, men and women, and we will try and make it halakhically correct as far as we can on the site. You'll notice there's also a mikveh on the site, also a very important ingredient to Jewish life on the site. So at its most intimate, the shul has room for about 100 seats. That seems like a lot, but those of us who go to shul occasionally, and those of us should go more often, know that people don't pack in and use every seat like tonight. Our brief is that it should be comfortable for a minyan of about 30 or 40 or 50 people, and that's really how we're approaching the project. It also has to, as you say, expand so that you've got 50 people on a normal Shabbat or maybe more, and it has to accommodate sort of 250 to 300 people. That's the brief, and that's what makes designing a shul a challenge and interesting. So we've got on the side aisles, we've got fold-down seats. So they add capacity, but they don't look empty when they're not in use, which is a feature. And then we've got this movable wall. So we've got the Aron HaKodesh on the east side, and we've got the movable wall on the west side, and you'll see how that works. So as the need arises, the movable wall will move west and expand capacity. And so we've got a shul that can grow what it needs to and yet be comfortable on a daily basis. So the other interesting part of this project is that the shul will be at the center of a very heavily developed site. It's actually going to be the smallest building on the site. It has to be very special. We've worked with John and the team so that there's no building on top of it, so it can get the primary source of light from above. There's no more beautiful light than the light that comes from above, the light from Hashem. And we will work to make this shul beautiful. We'll work to make it not stuffy. We'll make sure we have the right amount of air conditioning, the right amount of heating, so it's comfortable to be in. And as an idea, now this is very early, and it looks possibly more finished than it is, but we would like the shul to be a place of quiet reflection, prayer, of community. So we really want it to feel warm and intimate. And so we would like wood to be a primary material. We would like the light to come from above and filter down. We'd like everybody who sits there to have a great seat and to hear what's going on and participate, be in the middle of everything. And then on the outside, this hopefully, we would like to do a modern shul. And because the site is surrounded by housing and other uses, what we're looking at is putting the shul inside of a screen, which is rather delicate, which filters light, makes it more private. So we're surrounding the shul by these, right now, terracotta tiles, which give it a little privacy and a little bit of intimacy. And also, it's not another building on the site. It's not another building with doors and windows. It's special. It's pristine. And if you look at what a close-up of that facade would look like, when you have these circular tubes placed in a hexagonal pattern, you almost get the Star of David pattern. It's subtle, but that's one of the ideas. So we're trying to make the shul as pristine and precise as possible. And then at night, it will be different. It will hopefully be beautiful. We'll work very hard to make it beautiful. And thank you very much.